welcome to Lesson 7. In this lesson, we're going to look at adjectives. Now, we wouldn't strictly need to devote a whole lesson to adjectives until we had covered the basics of Latin nouns and verbs, but I thought that you just might like more interesting translation exercises, and of course, adjectives always make things more interesting. So that's why we're doing it here in Lesson 7. Our phrase is Benedicta tu, blessed art thou, or blessed are you. And of course, blessed refers to Our Lady and was predicted in the Gospel of Luke by Our Lady herself that all generations would call her blessed. And of course, Catholics still do that to this day. Now, a little review of adjectives. As you recall, adjectives are descriptive words that modify nouns and pronouns. They answer questions such as how much, or which, or what kind, and some common adjectives are colours and sizes. In Latin, an adjective must agree in gender, number, and case with the noun or pronoun it modifies, and its form may change to indicate these aspects. Some adjectives have many different forms, one for each case, in singular and plural, for masculine, feminine, and neuter gendered nouns. That's quite a lot for some adjectives, but thankfully they're declined in the same way as nouns. So once you know your noun declensions, you can easily figure out how an adjective is declined. Latin adjectives come in two main groups, and in this lesson we're going to look at the first group, which is a bit easier to understand. This kind of adjective has three different forms, one to use with masculine nouns, one for feminine nouns, and one for use with neuter nouns. A dictionary or a vocabulary listing will give the adjectives in this order, masculine first, then abbreviations of the feminine and neuter forms, similar to what you've seen in our noun listings. So an example that I've given you is sanctus, meaning holy. So you can see that the masculine form is sanctus, and that the abbreviation R refers to the feminine form, sancta, and the abbreviation refers to the neuter form, sanctum. You've already come across an example of the feminine form in the phrase Sancta Maria, Holy Mary. Maria is a feminine noun, and so we need to use the feminine form of the adjective, sancta. Now, here's a paradigm for an entire declension, this time for the feminine form of gloriosus, which is gloriosa, and gloriosus and gloriosa mean glorious. So, this feminine adjective form is declined in exactly the same way as a first declension noun is declined. The endings are the same, and the forms for all 5 cases are exactly the same as you've come to expect from those first declension nouns. So just have a quick look at those endings, a, arum, is, as, is. We won't be talking much about the masculine and neuter forms in this lesson because they follow the same pattern as second declension nouns. And of course, we haven't looked at those yet. But once we've looked at those nouns, then you can start to learn the adjectives that are declined in the same way. Now, let's see how we actually use these adjectives in our translation work. Start with an English sentence. The glorious Queen liberates. Our verb is the third person singular form of liberare, to liberate, and that is liberat. Our subject noun is the nominative singular form of regina, meaning queen. Now, an adjective must agree in gender, number, and case with its noun. That means glorious has to agree with queen in the Latin. So glorious needs to be the feminine singular nominative form, which is gloriosa. And that gives us our entire Latin sentence, Regina gloriosa liberat. The glorious Queen liberates. Next example. English, the sorrowful handmaid's sigh. This time we have a plural noun, subject noun, and therefore in Latin our verb also needs to be plural. So for our verb we need the third person plural form of suspirare, to sigh, which is suspirant. Our subject noun handmaids needs to be the plural form of the nominative case for handmaids or ancilla, which is ancillae. Our adjective sorrowful needs to agree in gender, number and case with ancillae, and sorrowful in Latin is dolorosus, dolorosa, dolorose, dolorosum. So for what we need for this sentence, that is dolorose, feminine, plural, nominative form. And our entire Latin sentence is ancillae dolorose suspirant. As always, if you're at all confused by anything that I give in these videos, just stop the video, go back to the difficult part, watch it over and over until you can figure it out. So I think it's pretty straightforward. If you take it piece by piece, I think that you'll figure out what I'm trying to say. If not, you can always shoot me an email. Okay, but hopefully I've explained it easily enough, and I'm sure you'll get the gist of it by the time you start to do your own translation exercises. Now, something to note. While the adjective needs to match its noun in gender, number and case, this doesn't always mean that the ending of the adjective will be the same as the ending of the noun. And here's an example. I'm sure you've heard of the famous title of Our Lady, Mater Dolorosa. This means sorrowful mother. Now, mater means mother, and it's a feminine noun, but it's a third declension noun. And of course, I know you haven't learned that yet, but it doesn't matter for this. All you need to know is that that's the nominative form and that it's a feminine noun, and it ends in er. So we need to match our adjective sorrowful to the feminine nominative noun mater, and that will give us dolorosa, singular form, feminine gender, and nominative case, dolorosa. So you can see that the ending of dolorosa, although it agrees in gender, number and case with the noun mater, the ending's different. And all this goes to prove is that we can't expect them to always be the same, even when they agree, and that's why it's really important to carefully go through the parsing or the analysis of each word in a sentence. Vocabulary now, and there are 6 adjectives of the first group that we've been talking about, the group with masculine, feminine and neuter forms, and they're all given in the shorthand form, and you'll need to write the short version and recite the long version. Eternus, eterna, eternum, eternal. Beatus, beata, beatum, blessed. Sanctus, sancta, sanctum, holy. Plenus, plena, plenum, full. Gloriosus, gloriosa, gloriosum, glorious. Dolorosus, dolorosa, dolorosum, sorrowful. Homework now, and as always, there is an exercise or two in your text at the end of the lesson. There'll be something to download, a supplementary exercise to download, and included with that download is of course your drill table, which now will include an adjective to be declined with each of your study periods. That's it from me. Until next time, goodbye, God bless.